All right, so I hope this is working. Um, Looks like I've got this little window to my left here. I'm trying this out, but it looks like we're waiting for me. So, yeah, hopefully it's just delayed. I am going to keep testing this while I poke around for a couple windows. So if you're on and watching, just hang with me for a sec. So, going to just play around with this for a little bit. So thank you for your patience while I figure this out. This is obviously the first stream that we're going to do. And then we're going to go through all of the spoilers that we got today in this next set. So give me just a sec. All right, so it does look like the audio is working, and it looks like this is working. I don't know if anybody's watching or not, but let's do this. So, all right, we are going to go through. I got my beer. That's the other key part here, right? So we got the stream today, or not the sorry, we got the spoilers today. I'm just going to go through them in order, just how they are in the album, which isn't necessarily top down. Normally we go through, number one is the blue villain, but we're just going to go through them. So first card here is that we're looking at is Entropic Blast. Deal 2 damage to each character has one or more of its character dice in a pool. It's okay. Probably a little too expensive. It's kind of like a mini Order 6/6 or Execute Order 6/6. I mean, it does a little more damage, but and I guess you don't have the plot. So I suppose if that's your angle, you can do that. You don't get the removal with it, but you do, of course, damage your own characters there, though, so that's interesting. Right, next is Trap the Blade. This looks super awesome. I'm actually looking forward to putting together a Praetorian Guard versus Raylo game as it is. So remove a die showing melee. If it's an upgrade, spot a blue character and spend one resource to discard its matching card from play for 1. So for 2, basically, you get to because remember, when you discard the upgrade, the die comes out anyway. So it's kind of a little just flexibility. You can either remove a die or you can get rid of the discard or of the upgrade. The problem is it has to be a melee weapon. So that's pretty limiting, and it has to be melee die. So I could see this maybe being a one of. It's probably a meta card based on what we see. I guess it's kind of targeting Raylo, which I guess is thematic with the art, right? So, all right, Bloodletting. This one's interesting because it's a support note. So exhaust the support and deal 1 damage to character control to turn one of its character upgrade dice to any side. 1 damage is a lot if you're thinking you're going to do this 1, 2, or maybe even 3 times to try to get your value out of it. But obviously, if you're flipping a 1 into like a 3 or something like that, then that's not a bad deal. So, yeah, I don't know about this one costing 1 is the problem. Like, think about it. If this was an event that said this, if this was a 1 cost event that had you deal 1 damage to character control, I mean, there is a card very similar to that actually already. Joe was actually playing it in Raylo, so Yeah, maybe this is actually better. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe this is once cost support is better because of just of that card argument. I mean, that card didn't see a ton of play, but it got used, so this one might be okay. Right, cruel methods. So we've seen this one, I think, right? So after you claim or take control of the battlefield, do 1 damage to attach character. You've got price. Picking on Hera there. This one's I think this one there's definitely a place for this one in the right deck. I do think that there's a Commander Pyre deck out there where you probably like a red-yellow Pyre deck where you're hastying the battlefield away and then claiming it and taking it because he deals when he takes control and when you claim, right? So I think there's something here with Pyre and like I don't know Pyre Beckett maybe, or we saw the new Pirate today as well. Call to action. This card is really cool. It's got the Death Trooper on it, which I love, but spot a character that's 15 or fewer points, throw all of its character dice into your pool. So two's rough, but I mean, can you think about like Iden, for example, right? You can get both of Iden's dice twice in a round for 2. It's not a bad little deal. All right, I'll handle this myself. I love this card. Look at the art on this card. This is like the derpiest face I've ever seen. So turn 1 of your character dice to any side, and if you control exactly 1 character, you may resolve that die. So this is more of an in-game card right now because none of our big guys, I mean, usually if you're running a big guy like a Vader droid or something like that, probably, I mean, I guess you could probably kill the droid and then use it as kind of a cheat on Vader. So yeah, I can see like a Vader droid here, or maybe whatever people come up with not Revan. Sorry, the new big guy who's 22 points with all the abilities. All right, taking charge. This has ambush, which I think is actually really needed for it to be the cost it is. So if you control the battlefield, remove a die. If you do not control the battlefield, take control of it and re-roll a die. I think that's why you need the ambush, is for that second part. If you can find some way to, give the battlefield away, get your re-roll, resolve, or do some other trick. Removing a die and getting ambush isn't that great, but I think it's the take control of it and re-roll part. So I think that's pretty cool. I think 1's fair. I think this card sees play in the right design deck. I mean, we kind of have a battlefield control theme going on, so that one almost kind of speaks to itself. Forced labor. This card is super sexy. This card is absolutely, I mean, a zero cost bounty as it is, because our 0 cost bounties aren't superb, but this one is. After attached character is defeated, may roll 1 of its character dice into its owner's pool, and then either resolve it for free, right? So if it's a pay side, you still get it, as if it were in your pool, or remove it. This is an auto include, I think, in a boba. I mean, he's on there, but it's an auto include in a boba, auto include in a Asajj, auto include in basically anything that you're playing bounties in. This is awesome. This card is really awesome. This one, I laugh really hard at the art on this one. Like, what it looks like is like Gaston lost 150 pounds and now he's DJ. Like, what's going on with DJ's like chin waddle there? So anyway, change of fortune, choose a symbol, reroll any number of opponent's dice, and remove each of those dice that just rerolled the chosen symbol. That's a little rough for 2. I don't think this sees play. It's a common though, so I don't know. I mean, maybe with the art, like, they do thematic art things. FFG does. Maybe it works in DJ. I don't think it does. All right, Opportune Strike. We actually saw this one today in the spoiler article. So this is, of course, just written for multiplayer. But if each of your opponents has an exhausted character and no dice showing damage, deal 2 indirect to each of them. Yeah, all right. Actually, I'm going to move windows around here because I see people are watching, and I'm being stupid and not looking at the comments. So, actually, hey all. All right, so yeah, I am Bride Guy. We've got Bride Guy, Origin, and P-Dubs with my route suggestion. All right, warning shot. So this one is actually spoiled on the Dice Commando channel. So this one shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But giving opponents a die and remove it unless they give you one resource, yeah, not superb. There's other better stuff. Okay, this card is super awesome, right? It doesn't look like it, but for one, turn 2 of your dice aside showing a shield. You know who's still a guy? You know who's still out there and has even been seeing some play with Kit is Luke, right? For one, you can flip both of Luke to his 2 shields. Now we're talking. Like this card will definitely see play in at least Luke, if not some like Qui-Gon something or other. This is a good card. I'm on board with this. All right. Remove a character. Yeah, Braven. That's what I'm talking about. Braven's been playing Luke Kit. Shout out to Braven. He says he's so happy. He's been playing that. That card is going to be fantastic for Luke. All right, so we're on to fresh start now. So remove a character die, then discard cards from the top of a deck equal to the value showing on that die. Of course, we needed some mill love because we have to, keep that archetype alive for whatever that's worth. This card, it's actually kind of fair at 2. So I think this one's okay. I'm not the best fan of people bringing mill to their locals. I think mill has a great place. Of course, it needs to exist. And I think this card's fair. One thing about it, though, is it is hero. So it's really just kind of another Yoda Leia deck, right? So obviously somebody either in the play testers or in the designers have a huge love for the Yoda Leia mill deck. All right, nullify for 0. So move 1 shield. This is an Anakin card, right? Move 1 shield from one of your characters to an opponent's character, then remove a die. Okay, great. So Jack, I see Yoda could use the shield event. Yeah, obviously big Yoda is what you're talking about there, I assume, right? So yeah, of course, do that into a become 1 or something like that. But that is your turn's resources to pull that off. Stand firm. This card, I love the art on this. This is great. It's got Luminar right up front. We could use another Luminar card, actually, tell you what. But remove any number of your dice showing a shield to remove that many dice. It's kind of like a cruddy guard, right? Guard used to be remove like a 3 melee to remove that many dice. It's kind of similar to that. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say there. So trust your feelings. We've seen this one. This is straight up just to make the plot work. So Valiant Deed. So Richard Kopax, actually, it's on the comments here. He asked, does anyone know where this art is from? I actually don't know. Maybe it's from the comics or something, but I don't know when Boba was attacking Farm Boy Luke on what definitely appears to be Tatooine. So, but Valiant Deed, remove an upgrade die. Then you may spot a mission plot to roll an apprentice die on one of your characters into the pool. The problem with this one is the then, right? So, if there's no upgrade, this is just a dead card because you're not going to remove one of your own to just roll, a Luke die in. So I don't know if that one. I don't know about that one. Padawan Braid. What I really like about this card is that they give you the +1 upgrade, so it doesn't work against you. And there's no rule that it's kind of funny because I think this works best. And actually someone had noted that in the comments already. I think this works best in like a Bacta or something like that. Like a Bacta therapy deck, right? We're just trying to load up upgrades. You can actually make your Jedi an apprentice. That's kind of weird, right? So, but blue character only, the +1 upgrade limit. It's really just getting you extra stuff on there. So I still think probably the Bandolier version's the better way to go. Because again, it's hero. So Feat of Strength. Spot a character that has 10 or more health to remove a die showing damage, or up to 2 if that character has 15 or more health. That's not bad for 1, but the problem we have here is that how many hero characters do they have at 15 or more health, right? So obviously what you're trying to do here is set up the Wookiees with I think it's Fortitude, right? That gives them the extra health. And I just think that's a lot of work to get the use out of this one. So it's okay, and then it's kind of thematic. Do remember that your Wookiee warriors only have 10 or more health really at the beginning. So, yeah. All right, Imposing Figure. Gain 1 resource if you control the character that has the most health. Can we be very thankful right now that they made this a hero card so that, right, we've already seen how bad like an early fresh supplies and like a Vader droid can be. Can you imagine if this was not, if this was neutral, like if it was not hero and Vader could just get money, right? So you could run fresh supplies and this, that would be bad news. So let's be very, very, very thankful this was a hero card. All right, plan of attack. This art's super cool. Like the black makes the blue pop. Very good job. Turn one of your dice to any side, then you may spot Death Star plans to turn another one of your dice to any side. That's not bad. Is it remaining health or health on the card? Imposing figure. No, so it would be remaining health, right? So if everybody has 2 left and you have 3, then you would get that still at this point. We were talking, of course, about imposing figure. All right, run to safety. I love this card. I think this card is probably going to be one of the staple cards of the set. And when I mean that, when I mean staple card of the set, I mean it's one of those commons that you want to have like 8 of. You know, it's one of those that every time you open it from booster pack, you don't throw it away. This is really, really good. It's also really, 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 really good for the Wookiees with Valorous Tribe because you can spread that damage around. Because you have to heal the 1 damage in order to heal the 2 damage. Remember, someone has to have damage on it before you can heal it. But for 1, you're healing 3 across 2 characters. Sarah, I see that you're on the stream. This looks real good for your double leaders on Jyn Cassian even, right? So this card is super good. I do not think it replaces Field Medic. I think Field Medic's better than it, just because you can just remove the 2 and not have to worry about the then. But this card's real good. Swing in. This one's funny for the Wookiee Warriors, right? So if you're running like a 3-wide Wookiees, like the 3-wide Wookiee Valorous Tribe, if you get it first turn, you could in theory roll in 3 Wookiee dice for 2. I don't even know if really the 2's worth the 3 Wookiee dice early because you don't have any money. But this is pretty cool. I just like the card. All right, Fortitude, we've seen this one. So attached character has +3 health or +4 health instead if it's a Wookiee. Not much to say there. I get that 4 health's a lot. I just don't think this card's going to see a lot of play. I think people will try to make it work, but I don't see it. All right, as 1, so we got a little Spectre love here. So re-roll a die, resolve up to 3 of your Spectre die. That's not bad. Do you remember this is not an impulsive though? You don't get to resolve anything. There's no focus or anything like that. So I don't know, but it's a re-roll a die. It's basically a re-roll a die with ambush, right? That's basically it. All right, Loth Cat and Mouse. This is a cool reprint. Not really much else to say here. It was a really well. I mean, it was a bad card at the time because he doesn't like you. He doesn't like you was there to kind of counter this, and it just wasn't better than that. But he doesn't like you's gone, and I think this one fills a spot. So reciprocate. What's that? P-dubs, no ambush. So reciprocate, ready an opponent's character, then gain 1 resource. I think this is pretty situational, pretty conditional on when you'd want to use it. So, I mean, you're basically counting on them having diceless characters or, I don't know, like a battle droid or something like that. I don't think this sees the play that maybe we think it is going to, but I don't know. Maybe somebody can be more creative than I am. Right, acute awareness. So this one fits right in with Kanan. If a die was turned during an opponent's last turn this round, turn that die to any side. So if they flip something, you actually flip it back. Kind of fits in with the Kanan theme that he's got going on. So, all right, fluid riposte. Hey, can somebody on stream? I don't. Braven, you're usually pretty good knowing everybody's moves and forms and stuff. So. Spot a blue character, remove a die showing damage. Then if that character has Xian on it, deal 1 damage to a character. Was Kanan Shield, or was Kanan a Xian guy? I mean, I guess he is if he's on here, but I thought Xian was like a Vader thing, so. All right. This one's in neutral, Infuse the Force. This is one of those 3 trigger cards we've seen. They're doing the whole family of this. So Sith for 1 damage, Jedi for 1 shield, and then Apprentice to draw a card. The Jedi Apprentice thing, the Sith Apprentice thing probably more likely to happen because people will probably be running the Rule of 2 plot, trying to do like a Kylo, Dooku, something like that. So I could see running it in that. Damage in a card for 1's not the worst. On guard, 0 cost with ambush, give a character 1 shield or spend 1 resource to ready and upgrade. It's all right. Ready and upgrade, I mean, it's not all right. I think it's really good because what's one of the worst things about like a Yoda Bail deck is once you've already used your ready, and then you've already used your special on Admiral, and then it's exhausted, and you roll in that special again, right? I mean, it's somewhat conditional in that you actually have this in your hand, but readying an Admiral again for an extra essentially character reset is not a bad deal. So I think this one in the right deck can be pretty good here. Yeah, I mean, I see a P-dubs. I think again, it's situational in that you have to set up for it, but then yes, you wouldn't be including it in your deck if you didn't want to use it anyway. So I think on guard for several of the exhaust, even like Force Lightning or Force Storm, you could do that, right? So, but I think the Admiral is probably the more value out of that. Right, side by side. So we already knew going in that the thematic pairing was going to be Anakin and Ahsoka, so we've got the art there. Reroll a die, then remove a different die showing the same value as the die just rerolled. Okay. All right, Seeking Knowledge. So I don't remember when this was from, but he's obviously talking to fives. I think that's Rex and fives there, right? But this support enters play with 2 resources on it. After the action phase begins, remove 1 resource from the support. Then if there are no resources on it, discard it to draw 3 cards. So this is basically something you have to get round 1 to really get the huge use out of it. I mean, maybe round 2, but I mean, you're not really getting this. This isn't really going to work, I don't think. So I don't know that it's worth 1 for sure. Yeah, if it was worth 0, maybe you could make the argument, but I don't think this is worth 1. Unless, that's actually, let me take that back, because there are cards out there in this set that are removing resources, so that's possible. All right, so Braven just came back with the info. So Kanan is not one of the notable practitioners of Xi'an. So, Sarah, why are there so many of these cards hero and neutral? There aren't very many villain cards. Well, it's just kind of the order that we're going through. Usually, remember with the numbers, they start at the top of villain, and then they goes villain, and then hero, and then neutral. But I'm just literally going through the album in the order that they posted them. So I think we'll be getting to more villain cards. The set definitely has villain cards in it, right? A sail, all right. So we've seen this one. Spot piloted vehicle, remove a die. Okay. I mean, it goes in with the piloting theme. It's kind of a dumbed down, pinned down, so no worries there. Command and Conquer. This is really cool art. This is really cool. But this is another one of those 1 cost multi things. So spot a pilot to activate it, spot a leader to turn 1 of your character die to any side, and spot a trooper to resolve 1 of your dice. So, and the easiest one that comes to mind just right off the bat is the new Major Von Rig, and then like a Pyre. Right, so you have pilot, trooper. Although actually, I think Pyre's a leader, right? I know we'll see. We haven't gotten to him. I don't remember if he's a leader or not. If he's a leader, this is good. If not, what I just said is completely irrelevant. All right, Covert Mission. Give a character 1 shield. Spot a mission plot to search your deck for a card and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. We have a tutor here. Tutors tend to be pretty broken. This seems really, really, really good. This seems crazy good, and I think probably that Krennic's going to get the best use out of it, being able to tutor some stupid support, because Krennic's going to make a ton of money. He's going to pull some stupid good support. I think this is really good. So, Welcome Matt's just confirmed that Pyre is a leader trooper. So there you go. If we go back to Command and Conquer. Yep. So thank you, welcome Matt. So if Pyre is Leader Trooper, which he's confirmed he is, then this card's really good with that particular pairing. And there may be some other pairing out there that you can do it. But yeah, Covert Mission. This card's broken. It may not be yet, but I think it's going to be, because being able to just go in and tutor exactly what we want and making a ton of money is, this card's bonkers good. All right, Embark. So for 0, activate one of your character's supports, then you have 5 or more dice in your pool. Turn one of them to a side with a symbol not showing on any of your dice. Yeah, maybe I'm missing it here. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard with piloting. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It shouldn't be that hard to get 5 dice into your pool, especially the way people are playing Destiny these days, which is just kind of like roll out, stock up, and hit. But yeah, I don't know. Not showing on one of any of your dice, it's like, so if you roll really bad, you get 1, and you have to put a card in to do that. It just seems real bad. All right, flanked by Wingman. Activate one of your characters to give it 1 shield or 2 shields instead if you spot 2 pilots. So that shouldn't be that hard to do in the right deck, so it's okay. All right, Under Fire. Deal 1 damage to a red character you control, then remove a die. This card is great because one of the best, I mean, it's not 2 die removal like Best Defense, but Best Defense has been kind of borderline bad value as of late, just with the way Destiny is right now. And I think Under Fire, I mean, like with the Wookiees, throwing 1 damage into one of your Wookiees is not a bad deal. Throwing 1 damage into not your target character is not a bad deal, and you just remove a die. It's better, obviously, with the Wookiees because, you know, you can try and get them to that 6 value. But I think this card probably, for at least the rest of this set, probably replaces, except for in like, you know, your red minion decks, I think this card probably replaces Best Defense in a lot of decks. Which has already been kind of dropping out as it is. So, but I think this card pops up again to me to be one of those that I'm not going to be, you know, a lot of times when we go and we open, we try to keep 4 of every common and then get stuff out. But this will be one of those, like Focus Fire in the last set, that I try to keep. Tactical Delay. This is another one of those better get it early type cards. Support enters play with 2 resources on it. After the action phase begins, remove 1 resource from the support. There's no resources on it. Discard it to gain 2 actions. What's cool about it is that you can discard it later to gain 2 actions, meaning that it doesn't immediately trigger or something like that. In that case, it would be completely worthless. But this one, I think this one's okay, even at 1. But then the question is, like, for right now anyway, do you play this over Tactical Mastery? I mean, I don't know that you do. So. And then if you're putting all the effort in to try to take resources off of this or something, is that type of deck really needing, like, essentially the ambush hit move? I don't know that you are. So it's a cool concept, but yeah. All right, License to Fly. This card's garbage. Moving on. Dangerous Escape. This card is also one of my definitely keeping. This card, I mean, you don't need that many decks with it, but anyway, let's get to the card. So for 1, discard all downgrades on a character, then deal damage to that character equal to the number of downgrades discarded this way. Oh my god, this card is really good in the right deck. Really, really good in the right deck. So basically, because that was one of the things, is like, do you really want to load up, you know, do you spread your bounties around for IG-88? Do you put them all on one guy so you can get the benefit from it? The answer now is all of the above, right? But you're throwing them on there. The problem always was that after, like, in a 2-wide, once you put 1 character down, the second guy, like, the bounties were kind of worthless, but now they're not anymore. You can make serious damage off of that. So, and what's interesting is it's neutral, so you can kind of use it defensively, but this is very much an offensive card, right? And then I want to point out, you combine this with like an arm to the teeth or something like that, right? So like you chuck their bounties, you arm to the teeth them. That's a whole bunch of damage out of hand right at the end. So not bad. Yeah, I agree, Sarah. Assuming you're talking about the bounty card, that card's real good. I think it's real good. All right, so Deadlock. Place one resource on a support you control. Place one resource on a support you do not control. So I think those kind of go in with the ones that we've seen. There's a lot of other cards in this set that have resources on them. So this is really just a function card to kind of get their mechanics working. Monopolize for 2, but decrease the cost of this event by 1 for each opponent that has no resources. Okay, so in 99% of our games, it's going to go down by 1, or can potentially go down to 1. Remove a die, then if you have 3 or more resources, gain a resource. So that's kind of cool, right? If you're playing it right, I think if you're playing it right, it's okay. Yeah, I agree. Dangerous, I agree. Welcome at, and I know everybody's on board too. Like Dangerous Escape, I think is really, really, really good. No doubt about it. All right, Reap. Ambush. Turn one of your dice to a side showing a resource. Okay. It's not a bad deal. I think Lando likes this. Now remember, this is not a cost, but the ambush on there's pretty hot, I think. All right, Rogue Tendencies, another one of these 1-for-3s. Spot a Scavenger to gain a resource. Scoundrel to reroll up to 3 dice, which that's a definite Scoundrel theme. That's even on like the Outer Rim Smuggler, right? And then Spot a Bounty Hunter to discard a random card from an opponent's hand. Part of the problem here, at least as I see it, is that Bounty Hunters aren't scavengers, or aren't scoundrels, I mean. So you definitely are looking at like some weird team to try and trigger even really 2 of these. You're looking at a pretty weird team, right? So yeah. All right, Survival Instinct. Give control of the battlefield to an opponent, then remove a die showing a value of 2 or less. So Hasty Exit meets Sinister Peace, or kind of, actually in that case kind of Forsaken, right? But yeah, Hasty Exit meet Forsaken. So the problem, that was one of the problems with Hasty Exit, actually, even back to the Legacies days, which is what made it an okay card, was that you couldn't remove specials. So this one can do that. It's better. Not bad. I mean, I think you still play Hasty too, but in the right, like, so this kind of goes back into what I was saying with, like, I think there's a Pyre Beckett deck maybe or something like that out there that has to deal with battlefield control, tossing it back and forth and trying to get it. And try to deal that damage by doing that. So yeah, exactly. Welcome, Matt. You and I are aligned. It's great for Pyre. Like I think there's definitely a Pyre Beckett deck, or maybe Pyre Gregan or whatever. So something in there. So all right, Taken by Surprise. Deal 1 damage to a ready character or spot a mission plot to deal 2 damage to a diceless character. I mean, it's not bad. It's actually good, but are you really packing this card? Like, with all the good stuff we have out there, you're really going to pack this card? I don't know. But hey, it's got the Trandoshan Hunter on there, so that's worth something. All right, Think on Your Feet. Look at this one. Boba's shooting his rocket. Remove 1 resource from a non-plot card you control to remove a die showing damage. Okay, non-plot card. So here we go. So this one fits in again with our delayed action plots. You can put them in, remove a resource from it, accelerate the issue, and then remove a die. So it's not bad. All right, Improvised Explosives. For 1, the support enters play with 2 resources on it. After the action phase begins, remove 1 resource from the support. Then, if no resources on it, discard it to deal 3 indirect to a player. So then, if no resources on it, discard it, deal 3 indirect. It does trigger immediately. I think you probably play this in Ewoks. It's not as good as Tripwire, but I mean, in certain situations it is. So, and then if you can, I mean, actually, if we combine it just with the last card, Think on Your Feet, right? I mean, if you get 2 of those out, Ewoks get a free removal and accelerate their indirect. So it's not bad. I can definitely see that working. It's a support equipment, so it is a support. All right, this guy was spoiled today, the Jawa Junk Dealer. We haven't really given our thoughts on any of the spoilers today yet, so I will address these guys. After you activate this character, play a gray neutral card from your hand, decreasing its cost by 1. It was pointed out today to me, right, that the Fickle Mercenaries are a 1-cost neutral, right? So you can drop a Fickle and then actually have enough money to buy it back. So that's just a cool little move. I don't know how often it'll come up, but this guy's very, very, very interesting. I think if there ends up being like some weird broken ramp deck out of this set, that it's probably going to be using this guy, at least one of them probably, somehow. It's good value there, except that you've got 5 points on your team that aren't really doing much. So, yeah, Bane Jawa is also the one that I've heard being tossed around. I don't want to talk much about that because that wasn't my deck idea. So, all right, Harmless Trick, spot a gray character, move a die. All right, it just goes right in with him. That's fine. Salvage Parts for 0, set aside 2 non-events discards from a discard pile, right? It doesn't have to be yours. Then spot a scavenger to gain run resource. So in order to get, so the resource is great, but it is event effect, so you do have to get the 2 non-events, which shouldn't be horrible, but it's not going to be easy like round 1. Because it has to be from the same, well, hold on. 2 non-event cards from a, yeah, it says a discard pile, so they have to be from the same discard pile. So, all right, Standoff, right? There's Pong Krell there in the middle with all the clones around him. The red shirts effectively on the left that don't have anything cool, right? You got Rex there, but the red shirts on the left, y'all are going to die. So Ambush, give each character 1 shield. Okay, probably fits in with Anakin or something like that. Moving on. Utini! Spot up to 4 Jawa characters to discard that many cards from the top of a deck. So do we really have a Jawa mill going on here? Like, that's very interesting. All right, Merchant Freighter. This card enters play with 3 resources on it. This support can be activated. After you activate this support, may remove 1 resource from it to gain 1 resource. So this is not, I mean, not basically, it's an ammo reserves or a backup muscle for money. This card is, woo. And then you know what you can do? You can eject, because it is a support vehicle. So you get your money out of it, you eject. Heck yeah. Standoff is an Ewoks card. Let me look. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yes, it is. Good call. Welcome, Matt. Absolutely an Ewoks card. Great, because those little fur balls needed more support. You know, burn in hell as far as I'm concerned. All right, yeah, Merchant Freighter. Oh my goodness, this is another one. This card is just crazy good, right? Am I missing something, or is this card just busted? Wow. Support, because either it costs 1 and you get it back, right? Like, isn't this card just crazy good? All right, gotta turn my head here. So, Valley of the Dark Lords on Morband, remove a non-character die. Oh, I mean, that's not bad, right? All right. Oh, Darth Bane. I called him Revan earlier. My bad. All right, so Darth Bane, Ancient Master for 14. We've already seen this guy. This guy, I think, I don't know, I think a lot of people are going to be trying to get this guy to work. And I don't blame him. He's super cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be an arms race early on to see who can all get all the cool 4-cost stuff from this set on Bane. But I think somebody, it's not something I'm going to start with, not what is appealing to me. I'm more on the 5-die stuff for this set, so I probably won't spend much time on this guy. All right, Death Field. Man, that is pretty cool art, actually. This card, we had already seen this one spoiled, but this card's crazy. I mean, for 5 cost, it should be, but, you know, money's not as hard as it used to be to find. So, this card on Palp, real scary to me, because you get 3 of it if you want. And, oh, I'm sorry, I only did 3 indirect, right? That's a 3 indirect 3 times. Or, oh darn, I discarded 2 cards. This with, I mean, like Palp needed more stuff, right? All right, Sith Lord. This one's sweet. Do note this one's not an ability, right? It's just a title. Titles aren't abilities. 3 gun, 3 melee, 3 indirect, 2 focus, 2 shield, and then 1 sexy special, where you just re-roll it, meaning that you don't lose the value on it if it's a special, but you can also trigger that Neiman that's just sitting on Darth Vader. So this one's pretty good. I mean, I think probably the obvious pairing with it is, of course, the guy we just looked at. I'm forgetting his name again. Bane. Sorry. I keep getting that. I think I'm not thinking that because of Batman. But, all right. So we won't call him Revan anymore. It's Bane. All right, Krennic, we've already seen this. I do want to talk about Krennic just for a little bit because of how good this guy is. This Krennic is going to, like, if there's a broken ramp deck out there, it is going to be Krennic. Like, Krennic is going to, like, even a mono red right now with some of the other cards we've seen, Krennic is just so good. Like, Krennic, Single Death Trooper, and Watt is out there. That's a deck I've been looking at for just throwing red stuff everywhere. I don't know, this guy's really good. He's just really good. The two resources, you get to flip to a resource. You can then Death Trooper power action to a resource. What more do you need, right? Oh, and if he misses, he rolls a discard or a focus. Like, Krennic is amazing. Adam, yeah, thanks. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Took me a little bit to figure it out, but it's something I've been wanting to do. So, Braven, you said you are in command. Oh yeah, of course that works. Yeah, you're in command. Just to reduce the cost by 1, you can pull it out of your discard if you need to. All right, the Duchess. I will say this is not the art I expected to see on this because in the Clone Wars they actually had this mounted on some sort of tank. This card's really good to go with the aforementioned Krennic deck that I was just talking about. Like, do you really mind rolling this in twice with Watt? And it's not going to be that hard to get 4 resources with that Krennic deck. So, yeah, deal 2 damage to each of your opponent's characters. Deal 1 additional damage if they're troopers. Okay, maybe not, you get that hit, but 3, 4 for 1, special, oh, and a 2 discard. So bringing this twice with Watt, this is great, right? The fact that, so what's interesting about this is a lot of times the board wipes, meaning deal damage to everybody's specials, like a force wave or something like that, they cost you 1. Or it's like a depleting effect, kind of like sonic detonators. This guy just comes in, you roll the special and hit everybody for 2. Like, that's, boom. Just end of story. It's good. Now it is unique, so you can't have 2 of them. But oh, I'm being told it was Rebels, not Clone Wars. Oh, that's true because it was the Satine thing. Oh yeah, they weren't fighting clones. That's right. They weren't fighting clones. They were killing Mandalorians. All right, my bad. All right, Boba. We've also seen Boba. This guy's really good. My Boba Asajj deck I'm having a lot of fun with. We saw the wrist laser as well got spoiled. We'll get to that. Hopefully, I'm not sure what order this goes in, but we'll get to that at a point. So, Boba Fett, I do want to point out, Boba Fett with the forced labor card we saw means that you get to roll in your opponent's characters as well, and then do that. So, I don't know, Boba with another 0 costs to help get more stuff out, and then you get another reroll out of it. Like, Boba with forced labor, obviously he's on it. Fantasy Flight hinted that it works, which it does, but that's pretty good. Slave One, not going to talk much about this. This card's pretty good. I do think that a lot of people early are going to be running Boba Jango. Like, it's going to happen. Anakin, I actually don't want to talk about this one because this makes me sad. So, Anakin's lightsaber, however, that was a spoiler article from last week. There's been a lot of discussion about this card, specifically in Reylo. But even if it's not, it's just good value, right? You get the 2 shields, no matter, like on Rey's, you get 1 or 2 if it's on her. This, you get 2, so you can protect who they're going after and just kind of throw that shield on the guy that you're not concerned about at the moment. And then the fact that this it has all the same sides as Rey's, except it has an extra shield and it doesn't have the pay side. So it's 1 less, but you don't have to pay for it, which I think is much better value. So this card's really good. I think it basically just auto takes over Rey's, and it's good this came out because I was very concerned actually with the pending rotation when that happens in 2-3 years, right? But if rotation ever happens, we lose Rey's, and we just got it back. So, all right, Hera, we have talked at length about Hera. We're very excited about her. We do need to figure out what's going to happen with DM, if anything, to find out if she becomes stupid good or just good. Poe, we've seen this guy as well. Haven't talked about him though. I don't like him. I could be wrong, but I just don't like him. The 2/2 indirect's not bad. 12 health's not bad. Okay, fine. I don't know. I just think it's gonna be real hard to find a good efficient partner for him and get the vehicles out. And I guess you could run Poe Yoda maybe and try to get money. I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing. If you're listening right now in the stream and I'm missing something on Poe, let me know. But I mean, don't get me wrong, his sides are good. Like his dice are great. I mean, he's on par with like an IG-88, which I actually do like. So maybe I'm talking myself in circles here, but I don't know. I'm not seeing any obvious pairings with Poe to make him good. Ghost, I'm going to skip over this one because we've already talked at length about this one. Rebel Hanger, yeah. All right, Sinjir. So we saw Sinjir, probably not saying that right, but we've seen him spoiled. The funny thing about this card, to me at least, is that this guy Screams was broken as hell in playtesting, and then they dialed it back because he's just bad, right? Unless there's something I'm missing, this guy's just bad. So after you resolve one of his dice, place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck to remove a die showing the same symbol. Like, that just seems not great. I don't know. So this guy probably, I'm guessing this guy like had a different ability that was somehow better because he's a legendary, right? So like what happened here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. So Sinjir's just bad. Like I said, I think at one point he probably had a really nifty ability and somebody probably broke it, and then he got made so bad that he just like fell through the cracks. All right, we've seen this one, Shin Mastery. This is Vader's card, right? But upgradability form. The real question on this one is it better than Neiman? I don't think it is. I like Neiman a lot. I fully acknowledge that you can overwrite your Neiman for this or something like that. Especially because when you bring it in, you get to roll it into your pool. So it's really good, or not really good, but it's not bad value. I mean, that's part of the reason people like Neiman is because you can drop Neiman even after you've activated and flip a die. If you're dropping this after you've activated and rolling it in, that's pretty good. So, I mean, Shin's okay. We'll see what people can do with it. So, all right, Magna Glove. This one, I showed this one to Amy today at lunch, and she just said, well, that seems really expensive. And I think she's right. I mean, it's one of those things like if the special didn't cost $1 here, right? So special is spend resources equal to cost of opponent's equipment or weapon to move it to attach character, then spot scavenger to roll that upgrade into your pool. Yeah, I mean, I think if the special didn't cost $1, it'd probably be broken. But with it having cost $1 and then having to pay on top of it, I don't know. I don't think this one's horrible, but I don't think that this is a legendary you're going to be happy to open. On the other hand, this one is bonkers good. Z6 Jetpack, 2 gun for 1, special, place 1 resource on this upgrade, then deal indirect equal to the number of resources on this upgrade. And it comes in with 1. So, like, you can just throw this onto old Yoda and start doing crazy stuff. Not that he doesn't do it with other stuff, but I really like this card. I like this card a lot. Not just because it's got my boy on it, but this thing can get out of control real quick, especially because we've already seen there's ways to start moving resources around. And I mean, could you imagine you throw in one of those plot things, toss a couple resources on this, all of a sudden the special's dealing 4 or 5 indirect by round 2 or 3. This thing's not a bad little upgrade. I'm perfectly happy to open this one. But yes, no Sinjir, no Magna Glove. All right, Victor Leader. So this is the first time we've seen this in color. We had seen the monochrome. He has 15 points, has me a little worried. There's a lot of people really excited about this guy. The 15 points has me worried. I do like the potential Vader Han 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the Han 3, the neutral Han. I do like that one. I know that Han isn't a pilot and all that, but he deals indirect, takes cards away. Vader's got 2 discard. I think there's something there. I also think somebody's going to figure out how to bust Vader here. The 2 discard side might be his best side. Obviously, if piloting becomes a thing, then he becomes stupid good. But I think in a normal Destiny world, I think he's just okay. Pong Krell. So I actually have an idea for a Jango Fett Pong Krell deck, because Jango can earn the money to start doing stupid things with hopefully his sabers next. It's not. All right. But so Pongkrell's lightsaber, what it does is it deals damage to multi-people. So I think that I just want to try it. I don't think it's gonna be good. I think it's like maybe mid tier 2, but I think it'll be kind of fun just to like get rerolls in and saber in, because you have all the money in the world that you want. Basically, kind of take over my mall spot, basically a little bit is what it'll do. So I don't know. We'll try it. Otherwise, he's not that great. What I really don't like is it has to be 4 different blue cards. Like I'd really love to be able to throw 2 pacifies in here, but it's just not in the cards. So Snoke's Praetorian Guard. I'm excited about this guy, mainly because I've been waiting to play him with Thrawn. So I mean that's pretty much it. I want the blue red with Thrawn, bring him in. I also do want to, assuming we can get 5 of them, stage a Raylo Praetorian Guard battle just for fun and throw it up on the channel. But yeah, I'm excited about this guy. Again, we've already seen him in monochrome, but it's kind of cool to see his card. So, all right, these downgrades with dice. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing. Obviously, there's going to have to be clarifications to teach us how to use it properly. But like, who gets the reroll? That's what I don't quite understand yet. Is like, if this is on your opponent's character, do they reroll it? Do you reroll it? I mean, it's in their pool, so one would think they reroll it, right? So, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know about these. And this one I think is certainly not worth 2 value, because you spin the 2 and it goes on their character, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody can prove me wrong, but I'm just not seeing it right now with any of these downgrades with dice. All right, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. This is actually my first time seeing this. So 3 indirect. This is, I mean, it's cool art. I like it. It's very, the black-gray contrast really makes the ship itself pop. But 3 indirect, 2 disrupt, 2 discard, special, deal 2 damage to a character, place 1 damage on a vehicle. Oh yeah, it fits right in with Vader. Then if Vader's piloting a support, discard vehicle that has 2 or more damage. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we're just blowing vehicles up left and right. 3 costs, that's unfortunate. Luke's is 2. It would have been kind of cool to have Vader's be 2, so you could kind of go after each other right from the start. But obviously I'm not saying this card's undercosted, but it would have been cool. Would have been cool if you could have got, maybe it was like a 2 cost. But it is what it is. It's I think it's pretty good with Vader. Like that's pretty good. All right, here's Pongkrell's lightsaber. So we've already seen this one, but the special for 1 is deal 2 damage up to 2 characters. But the sexy part is that you can spend 1 resource to roll in a set-aside copy. It is power action, so you can only do it once. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it'll be fun. Well, I'm not saying at all. I'm not going on record saying it's going to be good, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. All right, this card's awesome. Maybe, is it good or not? I don't know, but this card's really awesome. So the Vibro Arbiter Blades, whatever, the Praetorian Blades, 1/2 +2 shield. Elite character only, which is kind of neat. So it kind of hurts your 5-die Praetorian because they're a little hurting for weapons as it is. But after you play this card from your hand, play a set-aside copy of it paying its cost. But that means it costs you 4. So yeah, I don't. If you have 4 resources, do you want to play? Now, what is interesting is it doesn't say that set-aside card has to go on to the same character. I mean, assuming you have multiple elite characters, so I guess you could play 1 on each, and that's a little better. But I think if you have 4 and you're gonna pay 4 for upgrades, like I think there's better upgrades out there to do. So, I don't know. Dadman, have they updated an RGD with piloting rules? No, they have not. And I agree. We think we know how it mostly works. Like, we think you can pilot a ship that is already exhausted, but we're not entirely sure. So, yes, you're correct. We need that clarification. And we're hoping that clarification comes with some sort of DM or something. DM being Desperate Measures errata. All right, here's Pyre. Thank you, welcome, Matt, for going ahead and looking at this to make sure he was a trooper. But he is. He's a leader trooper. 1 gun, 2 gun, 2 gun for 1. Focus. He's pretty good for 14 points at the 11 health. His ability, as I understand his ability, and I could be wrong, because he specifically says claim or take control, right? So remember, the way I believe it works is that after you claim the battlefield, you take control of the battlefield. So the question would be, is claiming the battlefield 1 or is it 2? So I believe that it's 2, but I think they're probably going to have to go back and make it all one thing, because otherwise this guy and some of the other cards involved in him are just crazy stupid good, right? I mean, this guy with a single steal the battlefield card, like a steal the battlefield card, a hasty exit, and then a claim, that's 4, right? So that starts adding up real quick. So I think they're going to end up having to clarify that claiming and taking control are just 1. I think that's really the only way around this. So, but I mean, it's neat, right? Dealing the indirect, that stuff starts to add up, right? Indirect pings are one of those things that you don't worry about until you realize that you're in a hole. So I think he's got something there. All right, Elric, we already talked about him. He's really great with his TIE Interceptor. This guy's basically a TLT on steroids. That's what his die is, right? And I don't mean the value on his die, but the effect of his die being in the pool. While it's in the pool, its support and upgrade dice can't be removed, so it's kind of a reverse TLT, right? Death Trooper, so here's the real version. Obviously, the version that's been going around was the one that I had made as a proxy. It doesn't have that black line in there because I actually had stolen it off the Legion box, so it's good to see the full art. I love this guy. I'm playing a lot with this guy. You guys have probably already seen my proxy videos, but I won't talk too much about him. His ability to become money, I think, is going to end up being his strength, right? Just take money, take best defenses, take shoot, I forget the card we just reviewed where you deal 1 to remove. I mean, this guy's going to be really good in that Krennic deck we were kind of talking about. All right, here's Elric's TIE Interceptor. This thing's really good. We talked about this. I'll skip through this. All right, so TIE Bomber. So I'm going to pause for a sec while I think here. So support enters play with 3 resources on it, but you remove a resource to deal 4 indirect. So I think by triggering the special, like it's not anytime remove a resource, you have to trigger the special to do it. So if there's a way to like feed this guy more resources, that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, I'm struggling with this one because I can't figure out. I feel like the combo is like right there for me, but I can't figure out where the brokenness is going to come. But I think there's like this card could get stupid quick, I think, if someone can figure out how to abuse it. All right, Commander Pyre's Blaster. So this card's stupid good, right? Like we're finally seeing it. We knew we had seen the die, or at least the card thing, but we hadn't seen like +2, +2, +3. For 2, and when you play it on him, you get to take control of the battlefield, which deals indirect. This card's bonkers good, right? Like, am I missing something? I mean, I realize they're all modifieds, but this card's bonkers good. There's really not much more to it. I mean, it's unique, doesn't have redeploy, anything like that, but this thing's good. This card, this art is amazing. This art is absolutely incredible. That red flashing on top of the Death Trooper is just awesome. This card is really good. I'm super excited for this card with my Death Troopers and with the Trandoshans. Okay, so 3 cost, but after you play it on a non-unique, you get 1 resource. So you do have to get to 3, but you get 1 back, so it's an effective 2. It has redeploy on an elite character, which obviously with the whole non-unique thing normally wouldn't have helped you, but now we have the unique. We have the elite non-uniques. So this card's really cool for this set, perfectly designed for this set. It is a little unfortunate that it's villain, but I mean, the Wookiees are probably the only ones we care about anyway in their melee. So this card is really good. I love this card. I want 4 of these. Hopefully, I mean, that probably won't happen, but yeah. This card is really good. And look how sexy this card is. I mean, that's an awesome card. I'm in love with this card. All right. Moving on. So Craig and Gore came out today. 2 gun, 3 gun for 1, 3 indirect. This guy's sides are crazy good. Now he's 16. So really where this guy falls to me is he better than Beckett? Now I realize they fill slightly different holes, but I think he might be better than Beckett. Now Beckett's 15, obviously there's different pairings. Like I said, there's different holes, but like if you put the two of them next to each other, yeah, this guy's really good. And then of course after you activate them, if they have an exhausted characters, no dice, take one resource. I really like having I really want to give the designers a pat on the back for coming up with an archetype that actually punishes mill, aside from like the Ewoks, right? So this one's really neat. And I do see on here that Ramen had asked, is Hondo going to be a pirate too? They actually should make him a pirate. They probably should back errata him for pirate. All right, the next pirate, obviously, that goes with Kragan is Sinara. So she basically is a new Val. I kind of put that up earlier, but 2-gun, 2 indirect, disrupt, discard, and money. Nothing great there. What's really, really, really painful on her. So the reason I reference Val specifically is Val. I loved Val in Across the Galaxy. I loved her for draft. Right, she was one of the best draft cards you could get. She fit that 10 spot. She had a whole bunch of good damage sides, but 12 for Sinara's non-elite is really bad. Like I don't think she's playable in draft. She fits the same hole, but I don't think it's playable, right? So anyway, let's get to her. So after you activate this character, if an opponent has an exhausted character and no dice showing damage, the same theme, you may force them to choose and discard a card in the hand. Super awesome. Probably the reason she's 12 is because there was probably some broken combo. Maybe it was just a draft thing, because that'll happen a lot during draft, right? Because everybody's not unique, because everyone's running one die usually, there's a lot more chance for them not to have damage and have exhausted characters. So I think probably they did the right thing, but I think they made her completely unplayable from draft standpoint. From a real life standpoint, putting her at 14, I do want to say in ATG, I really enjoyed my Beckett Val deck that I had. I had a lot of fun with that as just like a tier 2 fun deck. I think the Pirates really are just going to fill that same slot. And they go together. Kragan and her go together perfectly. So, all right, next is, I don't know if I love this guy more, as much, or just slightly less than the Death Trooper, but Trandoshan Hunter, which we were allowed to spoil on our channel. We talked at length about him, but I've got the Muddy Trandoshans coming. It's going to be great, or at least I'm going to have fun with it. So this guy's really good. And remember, it does not have to be a bounty, just a downgrade. Like that's the most important part here. All right, Pestering. So I've already kind of hated on these, but after this die is rerolled, you may reroll one of attached character's character dice. So again, I'm making the assumption that your opponent's the one that has to reroll it. So basically how this would work is if it hits something they don't want it to be on, then they would reroll it, and then you would get to reroll one of the character's die. So kind of a back and forth there, but is this really worth one? I don't think so, right? And again, we're assuming that I'm the one, meaning I as the player who played it can be the one to resolve it, which I think makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. All right, Pirate Ship. So I was ranting to the Dice of Failure guys earlier about this one, because I have not seen the Resistance cartoon. It is beyond stupid to me that there are sails on a spaceship. Like, I get what they're going for. It's a pirate ship. Haha, funny. But, like, why are space pirates designing their ships to look like old ancient Earth vessels anyway? Bad move, Disney. Anyway, for the card itself, 2+2, 3 indirect for 1, 2 disrupt, 1 shield. It's okay. The 4 cost, I think, is appropriate for what this does, because after you activate the support, it may remove a die showing damage, then activate one of your pirates, right? So it sets you up for Kragan perfectly in that you can remove, say there's one die out there, remove it, there's an exhausted character, sets him up, and then sets Sinara up. So I think that's pretty good for 4. On the surface, I agree that this guy's probably too expensive at 4 from a pure stat standpoint, but for what he does, I think he'd be pretty busted at 3. So I think this is good. I think, and remember, it's not unique, so you can run 2 of them. So, all right, yeah, we'd alerted this. So this is actually the cover art for the set. Boba Fett's wrist laser, kind of got him diving back, taking a shot. 1 cost, 1, 1+2+2 disrupt. Looks broken as F, except that after you resolve this die, discard this upgrade from play unless you discard a card from your hand. So I still think that's probably worth it, right? You're popping off some shots. It costs you some cards to keep it alive. In a pinch, you can just pop off the shot and then not discard and you lose it. Do remember, I actually think this is better on Django. I get that after you play it on Boba Fett, you gain an action, but I think it's better on Django, so you get the money back, right? It's free. The thing that it's funny, we keep seeing this kind of stuff on the yellow characters, like with Donderbus, right? After you play this upgrade on Boba Fett, you may gain 1 action. So it's not ambush. You gain an action so that you can't get weird interactions there. Not the first time we've seen something like that. Like I said, it's on Donderbus. So, all right, Nathaniel. Nathaniel's a good Star Wars resource. He says, I don't think that pirate ship has been in space. Well, that's probably fair given all the flags on there. Mike was trying to convince me earlier that those were solar sails, but that's not how this works, Mike. That's not how any of this works. All right, discard's bonkers. 1/1, 2 for 1, shield, blank, blank for 1. Does Mother Talzin make a resurgence back? Maybe she does. Like, this card is crazy good. I don't even care that it has redeploy, or that it won't have redeploy, because, it's just, like, this card's crazy good. All right, this guy's a joke. So, the Jedi three-eyed cow, as we'll call him, right? The Jedi Knight. So this is the elite non-unique for blue. 2 melee, 3 melee for 1. Special, give a character 1 shield and deal damage. Deal 1 damage to a character, or 2 if it has 3 or more shields. So, like, what do you pair this guy with? You pair him with Raylo? Or with Rey, Like, this card's garbage. I don't... And, like, look at him in a vacuum. So I get that he can be played at 12. But why in the heck does this guy have 10 health? Like, there's no way you're playing this guy. There's no way you're playing this guy at 10 health. Right? You play him and another one of them, for example, for 20 health. Like, I'm sorry. Moving on. This card's garbage. All right, Kanan. We've talked at length about Kanan. Kanan is hot. He's amazing. His lightsaber's amazing. We'll get there in a second, I assume. All right, Luke Skywalker, Red 5. This guy's been spoiled for... It feels like forever. He's just real good. I cannot wait to play this guy with Jyn. Like, I've got a Jyn Luke deck ready to go. Like, it's sleeved with, like, open slots for when we get cards. Probably be one of the first ones I bring to tournament. Super excited about that. Get my motives, get my red cost removal, or my red healing, my blue low cost removal, and 1 S-ton of guns. So, excited about that. His X-Wing is also bonkers good, right? They interact together. I do like that it's 2 costs, so it can just interplay right away. All right, Kanan's lightsaber, obviously crazy good. Everyone else has already figured out the Instigator Ewok ambush into Kanan and his saber thing to hit. Like, everyone's already trying to abuse that. I actually wouldn't be surprised. And so, all right, so here's a little conspiracy theory rant, right? I've long had a conspiracy theory that I think that FFG intentionally misdesigns cards to get people to chase them. Now, in this case, I don't know if that holds because he's rare. But I think Kanan may end up being broken, and they end up adding a point. And the reason I think that that's actually pre-designed, and it fits into my conspiracy theory, is because a lot of the teams that you throw together with Spectre come out to 30 anyway, and you don't really need the plot. So I'm wondering if they haven't intentionally left 1 point room. I don't know. Just maybe a crazy conspiracy theory. I don't know. But I think there's going to be some crazy broken stuff going on with Kanan that smarter people than I are going to figure out. All right, Kashyyyk Warrior. Great to see this one in full art as well. We had only seen, again, I had recognized the art, so I had made a proxy that was flying around, but it had, again, that dash because it was from the Legion box. So this is the full art. Kashyyyk Warrior. I didn't give this guy enough credit when he first came out because I was so disappointed with how the Wookiee archetype looked like it was going to fail, and I still stand by that. Like, I don't think wide Wookiees is good. But this guy fits a ton of slots in the 5-die world, being red melee, right? It's not even his 10 health, which is good, but it's just him fitting that 8-point slot and bringing red to the table. This guy is going to see, I think, a lot of just utility play. And we did end up finding something that gives him Guardian 2, which is good. All right, so I'm going to butcher this name because, again, I don't watch the show. This is Kazuda Jono. So he's a naive hotshot and apparently the best starfighter pilot in the galaxy, but I thought that was Poe. So 1 gun, 2 gun, disrupt, shield, money, character pilot, 8 health. Okay, he's fine. Brings pilot to the table, 8 costs. I mean, that's not bad. 8 for 8. You're probably going to end up playing him non-elite, right? All right. Hey, no grunt talk on here, Steve. All right, Tarful. So I'm actually very excited about Tarful. I have I have 2 decks ready to go with Tarful. You guys will have to wait to see what those are. I'm not giving my local guys, who many of them are watching right now, I'm not giving them any hints, but I like Tarful a lot. I do wish he was a trooper, right? So if we go back and look at the Wookiee Warrior is a trooper, which is amazing because it brings on not only the Riot Shield buff, but it brings on Measure for Measure. Tarful's not a trooper, so that's kind of a bummer. But if you really look at this guy's stats, his die is amazing. So it's the 1 gun is not as much as what I'm interested about, but it's that 1, 2, and then the 2 focus, right? So basically, you're happy to get any black site on this guy. He's only 14 points. The 11's not amazing. I kind of almost wish that just because he's a Wookiee, he would have had 12. I'm not even playing him for the +1 health thing. The reason I don't like that is because, again, let's say you play him and 2 Wookiees, he's the target anyway, so he's going to go down, and then because it's a static effect, those Wookiees lose the health, so it's as if you had nothing. So originally I was disappointed in this guy because I was thinking, well, why would you want to pay for that? But then I actually started really looking and thinking about his die, and this guy's pretty good. Like, this guy brings some stuff to the table, and that 14-point slot can kind of be hard to fit, but it also helps fit 16-pointers. So I think this guy's got a lot going for him here. All right, this is Fireball. So for 2, we've got a 1 gun, +3 gun, 2 indirect, disrupt, shield. And after you resolve this die, place 1 damage on the support. After this die rolls a blank, if Kazuda Zeno, thank you, Braven, is not piloting the support, remove all that damage, do much indirect to yourself. So it's kind of like it blows up on you if you don't handle it right. So that's fair. All right, Phantom. Sweet, sweet, sweet card. All right, 1 drop. So 1+1, indirect, disrupt, shield, and blank. Power action, spot the ghost to attach the support to it as if it's a mod. Action, this becomes a support, right? So it's doing the Falcon Escapecraft thing all over again, right? I love that it's 1 drop. That's great. You're potentially going to get to abuse the snot out of this with the Phantom being able, with Ghost being able to be reset. I like it. So look at Kaz's after you activate. After you activate this character, you may spend 1 resource to exhaust a vehicle. All right, yeah, so yeah, that's fair. Actually, that's pretty good if you're playing the vehicle game, right? But that's in the vehicle game, so fair enough. All right, yeah, that's where we were. So Master Smuggler. All right, I think this guy's really, really, really good. After you activate this character, you may resolve 1 of your scoundrel dice as if it were showing a resource, right? So let's be clear. This guy rolls anything that's not a blank, and it's money. And you get it immediately. This guy's a scoundrel. I'm thinking that this scoundrel, the entourage package, comes back. Like, this guy, I don't know, at least on the surface, like, this guy doesn't lose money. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's only 1 of his dice, so I think you're playing him non-elite. You want the 10 for 10 anyway. I think this guy's got some broken potential in ramp decks. So we'll see what the smarter minds can do with it, but I think this guy's got real broken potential. All right, Sabine, we've talked about her. I'm going to move on. So Tora Doza, I believe it was Golden Dice that got her. If that's not correct, I apologize, gentlemen. She's tough at the 12-15 slot. After this character begins piloting a vehicle, resolve 1 of that vehicle support or upgrade dice. Like, that's pretty cool that you just get to roll in and resolve, right? That's pretty great. Otherwise, I don't think she's superb. She's not bad, but I think there's better characters out there. Blue Ace. This is another one of those vehicles. This is Tora's ship, right? But I really wish that this had been a 2 drop, not even for the stats. Like, it could have less stats, but the 3 spot just seems really, really bad. So I don't know. But before you resolve this die, remove any number of resources from the support to increase its value by that number. And after you resolve this die, place one resource on the support. So this could potentially be really good if you've got one of those resource moving cards around. But generally, it's basically just kind of like an inverse resistance crate speeder, right? Because it's being 3, maybe you're getting it off. Maybe you're getting it off twice a game. Maybe at the bonus, I mean. Bucket, this is awesome, right? Just this little droid with a helmet. 1 drop, support, focus, shield, special, gain a resource, and either place 1 resource on a support or remove 1 damage from a support, right? So you can start ramping up your other stuff. Bucket seems good in the right archetype. 1 drop, you're probably running 2 of them because he's probably important to set archetype if you're doing it. All right, Sabine's Tie, we're going to move on. Huge fan of this card in the right deck, of course. All right, here it is. So we suspected that there was a training out there that was 1 drop or 1 minus because, I mean, Fantasy Flight loves their patterns, right? So 3 drop for a 2 melee, 2 shield, resource, and then special, deal 2 damage. And then, of course, you can pull Mastery either from hand or discard. And then remember when Mastery comes in, it actually rolls in. So I don't know. I don't actually know if this will see that much play, not because it's bad, but because if you're playing the type of deck that's going to be going for the expensive upgrades, you probably just go straight into Xian, right? Like you probably go for a 2 into a 4 for like the overwrite. So I don't know that you're going to be playing training in that type of deck. I could be wrong, but I think probably you're running it's just a different archetype is what I think you're going to see. All right, systems malfunction. Oh my God, this art. Look at this. This is incredible. Looks like it came straight out of the movie, except for maybe a little bit of 2-4 storming, but like, this is incredible. It's another one of these that I don't really get, and it's even worse, I think, because it's on the vehicle. Yeah, you can blow up the vehicle. I mean, the one advantage, right? So you're the one resolving the die, obviously, right? So, I mean, it has to work that way, otherwise why? So they roll in their vehicle and they hit the special, and now it's your action. Like that in itself is pretty good. Like I'll grant you that. But still, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these. This one's actually I take it back. This one's probably the best of the ones we've seen so far. Yeah, I don't know. I think yeah. Actually, I'm talking myself in a circle here, but I think this one's actually not horrible. But again, are you really putting for 1? Are you really putting up this spot in case you don't run up against a vehicle deck? I don't think you are, right? So yeah, I don't think you play this card. Like I think it's good. I think there's a meta slot for it. I don't know that it's good. I think it's okay. I don't know if there's a meta slot for it, but yeah. All right, experimental booster. I kind of like this card. So 1 resource, 1 indirect, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, discard shield, blank, modify vehicle. After this die rolls a blank, discard it unless it's piloted, right? So it's a really good mod set up for pilots. I think it fits a great slot in trying to get those decks off the ground. It fits in well. I think it's good. All right, Cloud Car. I don't get this. Like what? Maybe like stream help me understand this one. So 2 gun, 2 like the die is okay. 2 gun, 2 indirect, disrupt, 2 shield, resource blank. Action, play this vehicle for free, but after the upkeep phase begins, give control of the support to an opponent. Right? But this is not, so stick with me here, right? After the upkeep phase begins, give control of the support to an opponent, but that's only if you trigger the action. So this becomes your opponent's support, right? Or am I missing something? Like it's not a static effect that every turn you guys trade it back and forth. It's when you play it for free, you give it over. So you can play it naturally and keep it forever, or you can get it for free for 1 turn and give it to them. Now, maybe you do that and then you eject or something like that. There's a super sexy trick there, but like fundamentally, are you really doing that? I don't know. So, because like again, you could eject it, like maybe. But yeah, Joey's looks like Joey's on board with me. Like this card's bad. I just don't see you playing it. On the flip side, and going back into my Entourage discussion, this card looks pretty good to me. Raiding Party 1+2 2, discard, 2 indirect, discard blank. After you activate the support, remove a resource from a support or upgrade in play. Does not have to be yours. Then gain 1 resource. I like this one. I like this one a lot. It's another scoundrel for your entourage package. The +2 kind of blows a little bit, especially because your second pirate, what's her name, Sonara, right? Sonara only has the 1 gun side. Kragan has the 2. I don't know. I still like this though. Like, it'd be better obviously if it didn't have the +2, but otherwise, like, what's not to like about this card? Like, I think it's pretty good. Sandcrawler, this card's funny. Like, so it's kind of, so stick with me. It's like the Steppertus Craft, except you don't have to blow it up. But the cost might actually be higher with the 4 cards. Now I realize what in theory you're trying to do here is discard the 4 cards to feed your junk dealer so you can start doing stupid stuff. But I mean, it's got shields and it does not go away when you pop it, or I shouldn't say pop it because you're not popping it, but when you special and you poop out the Jawa, it doesn't go away. So there's a little more value there. This one's okay. We'll see what it can do. All right, Legacy of the Sith. So here we're back in the villain cards for you, Sarah. So play a blue upgrade from your discard pile or play it for free instead if you have a defeated character that is 20 or more points. Okay, I mean, okay. I mean, I might actually play this in... I could actually see slotting one of this into my Mandalorian Maul, right? Because Maul's 20 points. I could replay, I mean, you don't get the power action with it, but you bring something back that got trashed. I don't have a ton of blue upgrades in there other than like Mortis, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just think that with most of the, actually basically aside from a Maul deck, I think that when your big guy goes down, your game's over anyway. So, but, you know, maybe. All right, pincer movement, more of this throne room battle stuff that I love. Activate 2 of your blue characters, then turn each of a character's character and upgrade size to side showing a blank. Oh my god, this is a Raylo card. Like, this is fantastic. Oh man. But it is each of a characters, right? So it's not the characters you rolled in. Like, let's get very clear on that, right? So then turn each of a character's character and upgrade dice to side showing blank, right? So they roll in somebody, you activate Raylo, and boom, they're all blanked. All right, Quad Slam. So we have seen this. Choose up to 4 characters, remove 1 character die belonging to each of them. It's cool that it's up to 4, right? So it doesn't punish you as well. It's not a bad utility card. I could actually see running it over a Beguile. I could totally see it. But heck yeah, Raylo and Nathaniel. Like, right, Treason for 2. Spot a blue character to remove an opponent's character die showing damage. Then that opponent deals damage to one of their characters equal to the value showing on that die. Spot a blue character, remove an opponent's character die. Then that opponent deals damage to one of their characters equal to that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good, right? I mean, I think that, I mean, I don't know what pretty good, but there's a spot for it. Like, it's not bad. Like, I think in draft, that's going to be a really brutal card. I can tell you that. So wait, can you treason yourself? Or not yourself, but I mean, if they have 1 character, does it still work? Spot a blue character, remove an opponent. Yeah, so to one of their characters. So even you could even make them treason themselves if they're down to 1 character. Yeah, that works. Right, rule of 2 we've seen. I personally think this card's garbage. Maybe it'll work with Dooku and Kylo 2, but yeah, I don't know. Like, you have to have only 1 die in your pool. Yeah, I just don't know about this one. Like, I'm not even as worried about the 1 indirect, but it just seems like it's not going to go off as often. So, all right, Ancient Sith Armor. So for 2, redeploy before attached character takes damage. Exhaust this upgrade to block 1 of it. After you play an ability on attached character, ready this upgrade. I don't know where I stand. Like, this could end up being really good before it takes damage, but it's still all dealt in 1 because you're not playing that into, like, if you're taking a packet of damage, you're not playing an ability in between, right? So it doesn't really matter whether it's a 1, a 1, a 1, or a 3, right? So, yeah. All right, Imperial Pilot, we've seen him. Face the Enemy. I love me some Thrawn. This was actually a really good episode in Rebels. a really good arc, I should say, in Rebels. So for 0, spot an exhausted character to force an opponent to draw 2 cards, then look at their hand and place up to 2 cards from it on top of their deck in any order. So it's kind of a Thrawn move. It might actually work okay with Wolf Yularen as well, just having that hand knowledge to be able to go pick stuff. Of course, Wolf has to have it in. Actually, I take that back, because Wolf, no, I'm totally wrong. Wolf has to have it in the discard to get anything out of that, so never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, aren't you just playing Probe instead, I think, right? So, I mean, I get the nuance here, but I think you're probably just playing Probe instead. All right, construct the Death Star. That one's been talked. This is another touchdown card. Viper Probe Droid. This card is like the new Suppressive Fire, but for villain, and I think it's a little better, right? So after a die rolls damage, spot a red character and spend 1 resource to remove that die. Then discard the support. So it's a Suppressive Fire, except that Suppressive Fire is only on activation. This is on roll. So it's just straight up better. Just straight up better. This card's awesome. I don't like this is it's an uncommon, which of course it is. So it's gonna be I think there's gonna be a chase uncommon. Like I think it's going in red decks. Like villain red decks. Like why not? This card's great. Alright, Director. Leader character only. After you resolve, remove 1 of your red dice showing a resource. Exhaust this upgrade to roll that die into your pool. Whoa. This is pretty good. This is actually really good. Give me just a second. Amy just got home and the dogs are going to go crazy, so I'm going to go shut my door. All right, back. Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, Director. I mean, it fills a slot not only for making money, but also obviously for construct, which is kind of I think the point. All right, Pike Sentinel. We've seen there. There's a good combo there. Plunder. All right, play only if you do not control the battlefield. Spot any number of pirates to take that many resources from an opponent. It costs you the 1, so you have to be careful with how you use it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. Uncommon, that's interesting. For 2, Luminous Beings we are. Roll all of your defeated Jedi character dice into your pool. Set those dice aside after they've been resolved or removed. Whoa. That's potentially really good. It's also potentially really bad and just a dead card, but it's potentially really good. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Skillful Deterrence. 2, for each elite character die in your pool, remove a die showing the same symbol as that die. Now that's interesting, right? Like this is probably a 1 of in Reylo, I think. I mean, you get those die in your pool, and you can remove die showing the same. I mean, I don't know if there's much more to say here. Like it's functional. I don't think it's more than a. I mean, you play it instead of a Beguile though, and this like. I'm just thinking from like a deck building curve function. Do you play this over another 2-drop? Do you play it over Beguile? I think that's really the questions. Do you play it? I mean, yeah, I think that's the questions. Do you play it over Beguile? I mean, it's got huge blowout potential, but you could also just get boned on it. So, all right, Jedi Trials. I'm skipping over that. People smarter than me will figure that one out. All right, Trench Run. So activate 1 of your pilots and 1 of your vehicles. Spot Death Star to play Trust Your Feelings from your hand or discard pile. Right. So just setting up the plot. That makes sense there. Destroy the Death Star. That one's been talked about. All right, here I want to talk about this one. So Wookiee Protection. You gotta love that it's Chewie with Yoda on his back. Each of your Wookiee characters has Guardian. After you remove a die using Guardian, you may exhaust this support to draw a card. So I think it's worth. I mean, you kind of wish that you could have some kind of like 0-cost support that would give your Wookiees Guardian, but the fact that it gives you the draw card, or the fact that it gives you draw, 1 is probably the right value. I think that feels kind of bad, but I mean, given like even on a 3-wide Wookiee, like let's just go there, even a 2-wide, like 2-wide with some big guy Wookiee. Be able to spread your damage around and then go run to safety or whatever. I think there's something there. This guy's interesting. Vengeful Wookiee, 7 cost for 9 health. He's yellow, which is interesting that he brings multicolor to a Wookiee wide deck. He's got the Wookiee thing going on, except that it's if you remove a die, or you can remove a die if he has 6 or more damage. So before you activate him, you can reroll a die. Then let's assume he has Guardian because of the card we just saw. And then you can remove a die if he has 6 or more damage, right? So, because remember, Guardian's before you activate, so he can take it and actually get in, and then so you could Guardian and then actually get a double. In the right situation, you could actually Guardian and get a double removal, right? So, I think this guy's okay. All right. 7 cost. So we have a whole bunch of sweet Mandalorian commandos in the back, which is great. Lead from the front, we've got Sabine with the Darksaber. Decrease the cost of this event by 1 for each different symbol showing on your dice. Resolve up to 3 of your dice, increasing each of their values by 1. So, is this designed for Spectre multi-wide? Like, is that where this is going? But I mean, doesn't this so you have guns, melee, indirect, resources. I mean, maybe because blank's not a symbol, right, is ruling there, right? So, yeah, this card seems like garbage to me. I don't know. All right, Pride and Joy. Play only if you control exactly 1 vehicle support. Resolve 1 of your vehicle dice without remove it. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, Shadowcaster actually needed this card. Like, this... Come on. Really? Like, Shadowcaster's bad enough. You don't need freaking to help Fat Vehicle right now with everything that we're looking at. Custom paint job we've seen. I like the theme there. Fling. All right, another Wookiee card. So spot a Wookiee character to exhaust another Wookiee, or sorry, spot a Wookiee character to exhaust another character that has less health than that Wookiee. For 3, okay, I mean, that fits in with what we've seen with Snare and stuff. The problem is it has to have less. Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably don't play it. Wookiee Rage, though, this card is bonkers good for the Wookiees. Ambush until the end of the action phase. Each before ability on your Wookiees that contains 6 or more damage now says has 1 or more damage instead, right? So, with the Wookiee we saw, he can now remove a die if he has 1 damage on him. But your Wookiees just become super angry beasts and all hit for +1, right? As long as you've done your job and spread your damage around. So, this card alone may very well redeem the Wookiee archetype altogether, in my opinion. All right, Spectre Cell. I love the art on that one. I'd like to see. I'd really like to see this card as a full art promo. That'd be really cool. Valorous Tribes. We finally get to see it, not in an angle, because the only one we'd seen was from the FFG stream. This card, I think, is the reason that you're playing 4-die Wookiee, because I think this card with Wookiees is what you have to do just to make it work. Spread that damage around, turn on run to safety. All right, Bestow Wisdom. Spot a Jedi or Sith to move up to 2 abilities from that character to an apprentice character. So this is kind of interesting only in that there was a discussion going on the boards when it was first spoiled. This was last week's Friday article about how Thrawn could actually use this, right? So if use it out of your deck and move abilities because you're spotting their character. So now that's a super fringe case of why you wouldn't ever want to try and use this card. But I think if you're trying to do weird janky stuff like this and set this up, that you should probably try to just play Old Man Luke. So, right, Falling Avalanche. So here's a Xian move. For 3, it's the big Xian move. Resolve 1 of your dice showing melee, increasing its value by 3 or by 4 instead if it has a card titled Xian Mastery on it. 3 for 3 or 4, that's fine, except, like, what is going on with the cost curve here on the Xian cards? I don't know if this is, like, I don't know. I think the only way you play this is under Lightsaber Mastery, I think. All right, joint, and then actually going back, right? If we're seriously talking about playing this with Lightsaber Mastery, like, aren't you probably playing it in a spot where Fatal Blow is just as good? So, I mean, it doesn't have to be character die in that case, granted, but. Right, Joint Maneuver for 0. Resolve 1 of your vehicle dice showing damage, increasing its value by the number of characters piloting that vehicle. Okay, I mean, it gets back again. So this one's neutral, probably goes more into the ghost type of thing, but we'll see what the piloting rules are when they are out. Sneak attack, ambush, play a red vehicle from your hand for free after the upkeep phase begins. If that vehicle is in play, return it to its owner's hand. Sneak attacking the ghost in for 2. Steven says, Andrew, your Mall 1 Django LSM. Yeah, where am I? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Makes a ton of money, I'll grant you that. All right, but sneak attack, I like, because remember, Ghost has the ambush and then lets you trigger Hera and then do some crazy stuff. The sneak attack card's pretty good. And then it pops back and then you could play it again or whatever. So I think sneak attack, I think it's just a cool. I don't know if it's super amazing or whatnot. And you have to be careful how you use the Phoenix with it. But I don't know. I think it's a well done card for being in the set itself. Death Star plans we've seen. This card is pretty good. Just in how it I don't think you're going to get it off. If you play it right, maybe you get 2 activations of it before you lose it because you're playing your solitaire deck. But all right, Narshada Thief we saw today. So if this character is exhausted, an opponent has at least 2 more resources, and you take 1 resource from them. So I'll talk about 2 things: the ability and then the character itself. I think the ability is really cool because there's a little bit of chess match there, and with the back and forth that we have, I think it works fine, kind of forcing your opponent's hand. It's kind of a Rebel Trader-esque ability in that you can kind of do something to force your opponent to do something. As far as this guy being 7 for 7, like, I understand that you don't want to cost him too aggressively because of the potential fallout of his ability. But on the other hand, your opponent can play around it. So I don't know that 7 for 7 is fair here. Like maybe a 6 for 7 or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Right, controlled chaos. So choose a symbol, reroll up to 5 dice. Spend 1 resource to reroll any number of those again. For each of those showing this chosen symbol, deal 1 indirect to an opponent. Yeah, I mean, it's a card. Quaxium Heist, you've seen that one. All right, Double Agent. After the upkeep phase begins, deal 2 indirect to yourself. Discard an event from your hand to give control of the support to an opponent. Interesting. Reminds me of, what was it, Cantina Brawl, right? Where it was, or Bar Fight, or whatever the card was, right? Where you kind of just kept going back and hitting each other until you were out of cards. So, I don't know, it's interesting. It costing 1, I mean, it would be broken if it was 0, I grant you that, but yeah, I don't know. It's a card. All right, repurposing. All right, so we've got some stuff going on here. I think these are the Infus Marauders, I think, right? So anyway, so for 0, set the support and set and assign equipment or a weapon from an opponent's discard pile to play an equipment or weapon from your hand, decreasing its cost by 1. That's kind of cool, except that, it's great. It would be better early when they probably don't have it in their discard pile. But it's kind of neat, right? It's kind of a Forbidden Lore-esque-ish card. So, all right, outdated tech, downgrade mod, modify opponents. Before attached vehicle support die is resolved, reduce it value by 1. That seems pretty solid. Again, are you putting it in your deck unless you know you're going to run up against vehicles? So I guess it's kind of meta. But that seems decent. Like, it's okay. Eject, we've seen that one. Eject, I think, becomes a lot better now that we've seen. I mean, and I don't think that's a huge surprise, but I think it's become a lot better now that we've seen a lot of the set. All right, Wretched Hive, support location. Exhaust the support and spot a scavenger to force an opponent to choose and discard a card from their hand unless they give you a resource. Yeah, so that's pretty much fitting into the, like, I wouldn't, in a million years, I wouldn't have seen Jawa Mill coming. So, yeah, that's a thing now. All right, Abandoned Refinery. Discard a support or upgrade you control to play a support or upgrade from your hand, decreasing its cost by 1, then draw a card. I mean, that's potentially, you have to set up around it, but that's potentially okay. it's really just helping your ramp engine, right? You play a card, turn that 0 cost card into 1 resource, right? Or 1 and 2 or whatever, right? It's just a +1 ramp, so that's not bad. Colossus Castellan. After any player's character begins piloting a vehicle, that player may take control of this battlefield. After you take control of this battlefield, re-roll a die. Super cool, super fun battlefield. I like it. Bouncing around control. There's probably this is probably the card that pushes Pyre into space, into rough space, if anybody can figure out how to do it. Pike Sentinel Mine. Discard the top card of a deck or the top 2 cards if you spot a diceless character. Okay, Jawa Mill. If a non-event card is discarded this way, gain 1 resource. Yep, so it's just feeding it. And hey, that's it. So we're back to Entropic Blast. So man, can you believe we just went through the whole freaking set? Luckily, we'd seen a lot of it, so we saved time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I do think, so first off, actually, thank you guys for joining me for the first live stream really we've ever done. Hopefully that's something that we can do. Hopefully it won't take an hour 40 every time. But hopefully everything went okay. I'll go back and watch some of the stream and make sure that the internet did okay and all that. So, but again, thank you. I've had roughly 40 people watching, which is pretty awesome. 14 people like. So, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I would like to just hang out maybe on the stream for a little bit and keep talking with you guys. But what I'm going to do is officially end the cast, and then I'll just keep the stream going for a little bit and really chat. So that's pretty much it. So thank you guys, and go Commando. Yeah, Joey, I think that Pyre and Baron could work in that scenario. I think I like Pyre with somebody yellow so that he can bring the hasty exits and stuff to the table. That's my thought anyway. Oh, thanks, Monk. I didn't see that you were on there, man. Thanks for you're the pro at this, so hopefully we did okay. Kind of a scramble at the end to figure it out, but hey, Dad, man. Like to see more of your in-depth vids you did, like the Spectre one. Oh, the one that Amy and I did? Thank you, Derek. We'll see you tomorrow, Jin Die in hand. ABG is now copying me. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Oh, are they doing this? Are they doing this right now, you mean? Oh. Yeah, Dad, it was Dad, man. It was fun to be on there with Amy and going through that. We're both obviously very excited about it because it was something that we had watched together. I think that's why we like the Rebels guys so much. But they're also really good and they look really fun to play. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. So the cast stuff as far as going into depth, we try to do stuff like that from time to time. The problem is like as news comes. It's kind of funny in this game, right? When news comes, it's like when it rains, it pours, and then you have these long droughts. So we will do what we can. If you have any suggestions, though, we always take them, especially in those droughts. Kind of starts getting hard to find the topics, so we end up just defaulting back to talking about primes and what the meta is. Like meaning they have 11 people casting? That sounds like a mess. Those guys do a pretty good job, though. I watch their stuff from time to time. It's always good to hear different perspectives. The East Coast West Coast divide is like a very real thing. Everybody hates on Mando. Does seems to do real good on the West Coast. So we'll see in Vegas. See in Vegas which coast is the best coast, I guess, right? So Braven asks, I'm wondering what the Chase legendary is going to be, and there are some real good ones, but also some real bad ones. That's an interesting question. What will the Chase legendary be? I can tell you the one I want the most is Boba, but that's completely personal. The ones we do want, the legendaries we're after are Krennic, Boba, Slave 1, Hera, Ghost. That's probably, I mean, we don't really care about Anakin, so, and then there's a lot of really bad ones, so, I mean, and that's just the way it works when you open our boxes, we're going to get 50-50, right? So, Chase Legendary, though, I don't know that there will, I mean, it's probably going to be, it'll definitely be one of the Bane related cards, right? It'll either be Shin or Deathfield or something like that, I think are going to be the Chase Legendaries. I think at least early, right? I don't think any doubt about it. But that's just my take early, right? I mean, all the time, remember that Neiman, which is the Neiman Training or Neiman Mastery, which is the best card in this set, or the most expensive card in set 8, was kind of crapped on when it first came out. So early chase and late chase are always two different things. So I think if Deathfield works with Palp, Deathfield probably becomes one of the more expensive cards. I don't see any of the characters. I don't see any of the characters becoming super chasey unless like Krennic. Well, I mean, I think Krennic good, and actually Krennic might end up being pretty expensive just because of his functionality across different types of sets. But I mean, honestly, it's all really going to depend on who gets the early wins, and people will gravitate towards that, right? But that's why I'm saying I think the functionality of the Shians and the Sith Lords and the Deathfields playing with Palp and Vader and Bane will probably push them into the high desire tier early. And Joey, I don't blame you. I think Hera's pretty good. The only difference on Hera is I think you only need one. But there might be a different archetype out there where you run an elite, but I think you probably just need the one. So that's interesting. I actually don't mind Duchess. I think Duchess is okay. I couldn't agree more about Magna Glove, Sinjar, and the Hanger. There's one more out there that I think I can't think of it right now. But there's one more out there that I was hoping wasn't a legendary, but yeah, I don't know. It seems good and bad. So all right, so I'm closing in on an hour 45. Actually, we're well over it at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. But I wanted to thank you guys for not only being here, but also for hanging out. So thank you guys very much. And go Commando, and we'll see you when we see you. Have a good week.